We owe it all to Andy Warhol and to Anita Bryant.
Hello and welcome to the Tour Project. I'm Project Manager Eric Solomon. For this stop on the tour, navigate to 470 Candler Park Drive, Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia, 30307. This is the site of the First Existentialist congregation. Founded in 1976 by Minister R. Lanier Clance, the First Existentialist Congregation of Atlanta, formerly known as First Existentialist Church and colloquially known as First E, is an independent Unitarian Universalist congregation which celebrates interfaith and diverse perspectives. The First E congregation has historically deviated from conservative understandings of religion, gender, and sexuality. As such, the congregation is one of the oldest religious institutions accepting of LGBTQIA+ people in the city. First E, on their website, tells us a little bit about their philosophy. We are not a religion. We are an experiment in philosophical spiritual community. We believe in individual freedom, personal responsibility, and the importance of community. We believe that each person must seek their own path and find their own truth. We think that we can hold different beliefs yet live together in community and treat one another with kindness and respect. We believe in social justice for all people. The congregation of First E is housed in the Old Stone Church at 470 Candler Park Drive. This church was a cornerstone for a vibrant African American working class community that had resided in the neighborhood from the early 1870s. Many of these black families were members and leaders of the Antioch Baptist Church, which was founded close by in 1874. The First Existentialist website details the evolution of the Old Stone Church. I want to provide a little bit more context here, but please visit firstexistentialist.org for more information. Around 1880, the Antioch congregation built a wooden church for religious and educational purposes on what is now Oakdale Road, north of McClendon Avenue. That building burned to the ground under mysterious circumstances in 1916. For the next several years, the congregation held services at the African American Edgewood Evening Star Lodge nearby. In 1918, Antioch purchased property across the street from the lodge and began construction, this time building their new sanctuary out of granite from Stone Mountain. It took 4 years to complete. The old stone church stands to this day. The congregation continued to worship as Antioch East Baptist Church until September of 1950, when Antioch was obliged to move south of the railroad tracks by growing hostilities from white neighbors. The stone building was bought by the white-only Candler Park Improvement Corporation, Candler Park Civic Club, and was converted into their clubhouse. By the time they sold it to the Phoenix Unitarian Fellowship in 1977, the club had added 4 adjacent land lots to the original parcel. In 1980, the First Existentialist Church took over the mortgage from the Phoenix Fellowship. Again, for more information about the Old Stone Church, which currently houses the First Existentialist congregation, please visit firstexistentialist.org. First E honored Touching Up Our Roots co-founder Dave Hayward with its Celebration of Life Sunday service on October 10th, 2021. Here's Dave Hayward with more about First Existentialist congregation.
We go over a little further beyond Little 5 Points to Candler Park. And the First Existentialist congregation has been on Candler Park Drive for many years. I want to give a special notice to Lanier Clance, who was the minister there at First Existential Congregation for many years. And the thing that was really important about First Existentialist congregation and also the Unitarian Universalist Church that is off of Cliff Valley Way, off of North Druid Hills, way in North Atlanta, is that these two churches were very welcoming to all of us. And as we talked about, the First Baptist Church that was in the heart of Midtown Atlanta was not. And you have ministers there who were decrying AIDS is God's judgment against sinners. And I also recall that in 1976, we picketed the Baptist church. It was next to Phipps Plaza, where the minister was also speaking out. This is, of course, before AIDS, but the minister was also speaking out against, LGBTQ community, or against, fags or whatever, the pejorative. And it's very important that churches like the Unitarian Universalist Congregation and the First Universalist Congregation Church and the First Existentialist Congregation have been always welcoming to us. And I recall over the years going to many events at both. And the First Existentialist Congregation putting on exhibits and having programs, and then the majority of the people there identifying as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. And then that's also true for the Unitarian Universalist Church. So it's interesting to me when you look at the story of Atlanta, and as we talked about being in the Deep South and being in the Bible Belt, and then the transformation that has occurred over the years. So we're talking about a period of about 50 years or so, where no longer is it acceptable or permissible for people to stand up there in the pulpit and to, gay bait. I mean, you just don't get away with that any longer. So that's progress.
Thank you for joining us on this stop of the Tour Project. For more information, visit tourqueeratlanta.org. That's TUOR queeratlanta.org.